Hello, Mr. Yukon. My name is Dr. Hackinslash, and I'm going over your test results here on your chart, and I've noticed that indeed your transfer case has quit functioning. A little bit of bad news for you. We're going to go ahead and remove your front drive shaft. Now, there's nothing to be afraid of here. This is a rather simple procedure, as it happens to a lot of four-wheel drives. You will notice that after the procedure is completed that you will lose the drive for four-wheeling, and your engine will sound a few octaves higher. But if we look on the bright side of things, we can see that you will still have full function and use of your rear wheels, and your engine will go back to sounding normal just after a few miles. Alright, I've got my 1999 Yukon. Got a problem with it. It makes an awful lot of noise when I drive it. There's a lot of rattles and grinding noises and stuff coming from the undercarriage. Sounds pretty much like a tool chest falling down a flight of stairs. Now, what I've got going on here is I know that the transfer case is broken on this truck. I've tried putting it in four-wheel drive. There's a loud clunk. I think I've stripped some gears or a bearing or something in it. I put the truck in park a little prematurely while the truck was rolling, like an idiot. I was in a hurry. Ever since that point, the four-wheel drive has quit working. What I'm going to do is take the front drive shaft off. Maybe that will cause the noises to stop that's underneath the vehicle. I think the drive shaft catches every once in a while. I do feel a jerk in the truck whenever I hit a bump. In the drivetrain, I can kind of feel that a little bit. I think it catches a time or two. I'm going to take the front drive shaft off, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Yeah, there's the drive shaft right here for the front differential, all the way here to the transfer case. These 11mm bolts on the saddle bracket here that keeps the front drive shaft on, I'm going to take those out. The truck is in park right now, and I'm just going to take my hand and turn the drive shaft. Now, I'm no rock scientist, but I don't think this is supposed to happen. If you listen to it, that's the noise I hear whenever I'm driving. Clicking noises. Shouldn't harm the vehicle to have this drive shaft off. I've actually read online where a lot of Jeep guys do this to save gas mileage. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not doing it for any of those kind of reasons. I'm just doing it to get rid of the noise. I've got a flat iron. I'm going to stick it underneath here like this. This torsion bar here, I'll put it in between here. That way I can get my socket on there and not spin the drive shaft. And since mine's busted, I'm not going to jack up the car or put it in neutral or anything. You may need to do that. If you're going to reinstall it, I would get a paint marker or something and line up some marks here and here. That way you can reinstall it and still have it go in the same spot. But I'm taking this thing off and I'm not going to put it back on. This truck's too old to put any more money into it. It's going to drive it two-wheel drive. I'm not going to fix the four-wheel drive. I'm just going to take my 11mm bolt here, get it off. I'm going to get that last bolt out here. You can see that's what the saddle looks like. Spin the drive shaft this way. Put that back in there so the drive shaft won't spin. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just pry this back. And what I've done is I've just taken my pry bar and slid it underneath in here. And I hit on it once or twice and got it to kind of go backwards and pops out. Now yours might be real rusted here. You may need to put some lubricant on there to bust up the rust. But there you go. Now it's time to get it out of the transfer case here. And there's a dust boot on there. We'll have to get a pair of pliers or something and get the clamp off of there. But all it should have to do then is just to work it, wiggle it, and get it to just pull out of the transfer case. Alright, here's that clamp I'm talking about. We'll just use some needle nose and we'll get this off. So now I'm just going to work this dust boot off with a screwdriver. Break it loose a little bit, that way it'll slide right out off the end of the drive shaft. Here we go, I'm just going to pull it straight out. Alright, so I've been driving the truck for 5-10 minutes now. Since I removed the drive shaft, did all that noise go away? Well, no, it didn't. There's still quite a bit of noise from what I believe, I guess, is the transfer case. So it's got like this noise. So honestly, I don't know a whole lot about transfer cases. If you know what that noise could possibly be, just comment below. If there's a gear or a bearing or something in there that's busted, that's just making an awful lot of noise. The one thing that I've noticed is gone and I'm really happy about, is whenever I go over a bumpy road, I would normally feel what feels like the drivetrain just kind of catch, kind of clunk. I don't feel that anymore. I think taking that drive shaft off, especially in this front end, I'd feel like a clunk or a hang up, and that's gone. So for me, taking the drive shaft off for that reason alone is good enough for me, because it really did make the truck feel like it was going to fall apart in the front end. My wife drives this vehicle an awful lot. The truck just really didn't feel that reliable. Whenever it was making that much noise, it would clunk, and the whole front end on this thing needs to be replaced. The tie rods and the idler arm's bad. I've got a lot of play in the steering wheel. The truck needs a lot of work, but we don't have the money to get a new truck right now, so we're going to have to let this one be our vehicle for a while, so I'm just going to put enough in it just to keep it running. And this taking the drive shaft off is one of those things I can do to kind of help it drive better. Anyway, that's how you remove the front drive shaft on a 4x4 GMC Yukon. Just remember, if at first you don't succeed, you're not Chuck Norris. Thanks for watching. God bless. So anyway, that's how you remove the drive shaft on a 1999 Chevy. It's not a Chevy, it's a GMC.